Stream the full season on ABC iView.
Tonight, 7 people dead, including the attacker in a mass stabbing at a busy shopping centre in Sydney's east. And tales of bravery in the chaos as shoppers come to the aid of the victims and a lone police officer brings down the perpetrator.
Today, Bondi Junction was the scene of shocking violence, but it was also witness to the humanity and the heroism of our fellow Australians.
In other news, Scott Morrison's replacement in Parliament confirmed, Simon Kennedy running unopposed by a Labor candidate in Cook. And Parramatta beat the Cowboys 27 points to 20. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Meredith Sheehan. Police have confirmed 7 people, including the attacker, are dead after a man went on a stabbing rampage in a busy shopping centre in Sydney's eastern suburbs. Police shot and killed the alleged attacker at the Bondi Junction Westfield. 8 other people, including a 9-month-old baby, are in hospital. We're taking you live now to Penny Sharp, the New South Wales Acting Premier.
Been attacked at the local shopping centre. People enjoying the first day of the school holidays with their kids, people doing their ordinary shopping and their clothes shopping, and the workers who serve all of them. They have witnessed something horrific. But even worse, we have lost 6 innocent lives, and tonight there are medical staff working around the clock to try to save the lives of at least 8 others. Tonight I convened the Crisis Cabinet with a range of ministers. I want to also let you know that the Premier, who has not left the Tokyo airport, was on the line as well. We received really important briefings from the Police Commissioner and also from New South Wales Health as we pull this information together. I want to thank, on behalf of the New South Wales Government, all of those who stood up today in the most frightening of experiences and the most frightening events that you would ever expect to see. Particularly want to thank, obviously, the police officer who stopped this person. I also want to thank all of the other police officers. I've just been inside. The amount of work that is going on, the work that they will do in coming days is so important. And on behalf of the New South Wales Government, I want to thank them. I also want to thank the innocent bystanders who in frightening times stood up for the people around them, people that they did not know, but people who they knew lives were worthwhile and part of their community, and they wanted to look after them. There are really more difficult days ahead. Tonight we hold in our hearts the families and the friends and those who have lost loved ones. We stand with those who are waiting to hear, for those that have been injured, and we really stand by, again, all of the medical staff who are fighting to save their lives. But we also thank the ordinary people who will do with this. What we saw today, what we've seen on our television screens, particularly this afternoon, is the number of innocent people going about their business who have witnessed shocking events. This is going to be difficult. It's going to be hard for days to come. This is really just the beginning of the pain and the grief for so many people. Tonight I want to say on behalf of the New South Wales Government that we will stand with you, that we will provide the support that you need in these coming days and weeks, and we just yet again hold in our hearts those who have lost friends and family, and we also give all of our thoughts and prayers to those who are still injured, and we hope that they recover really soon. I also want to thank the Police Minister, who's here with me tonight and be receiving the briefings from the New South Wales Police Force, but also the fact that she is there standing with them and will provide all support that we need or that they need in coming days and weeks as we get to the bottom of this terrible crime. Happy to take questions.
Minister, the PM has said that the Commonwealth is happy to provide whatever support is needed. Are you seeking any support from the Commonwealth at the moment in response to this?
Look, I've spoken tonight to the Prime Minister. I've also spoken to the Leader of the New South Wales Opposition, and I've spoken to the local members who represent this area. At this point, we don't believe that we will need additional support, but obviously all offers are welcome and we'll see what unfolds in coming days. But the main point that we really, in all of those conversations, has been this is a horrific and distressing event for all of the people of New South Wales, and we'll do whatever is necessary to support the community and to make sure that, you know, everything that can be done will be done.
A really unfortunate time for the Premier and Deputy Premier to be on leave. What's the Premier said to you directly, and when will you likely be back in the city?
Well, look, the Premier literally got off a plane early this evening. He has not left the airport. He is on a plane, I think, as we speak, and will be back in the morning. He has been at the briefings, as has the Deputy Premier that we had this evening. We are all focused on this one thing, which is making sure that we support the New South Wales community through these horrific events, and that everything that the government can do to do that, we will do.
Extra support for the first responders?
We are looking at all of those things. There are very comprehensive plans in place for first responders in terms of support, but also for the community. We'll be providing as much information as we can as soon as we can, but understand that particularly for first responders, there are important protocols in place which will have been activated.
I suspect you'll say it's too early to say, that other attacks like this have prompted legislative changes. Do you foresee in the very kind of early moment that this is any need for that after this?
Look, all we need to know tonight is that 6 innocent people have lost their lives. There are 8 people fighting for their lives in hospital. Police and others are responding as quickly as they can to these events. We will obviously have reviews that will occur as a result of this, and I'm sure that we will discuss anything in the future, but it is too early. Tonight we just have to have our thoughts for those that have lost loved ones and really stand by those who are fighting for their lives.
How purely from a personal level, purely from a personal point of view as a fellow Sydney sider, how shocking and how upsetting, how distressing is an event like this?
This is beyond distressing. This is not who we are. This is not the community that we live in. This is not something that any person or any member of our community should have had to experience. It's shocking. I'm personally distressed by this, as I'm sure everybody is. This is not our community. It's not the safe, wonderful place that we love to live, but we now have to live with the serious consequences of what's happened today.
Police Minister, is that okay?
Yes.
Sorry. How, I know it's still early and investigations are ongoing, but how, by all accounts, it seems that the force, every officer that was there did an outstanding job. How proud are you of their work?
The efforts of the police today have been absolutely immeasurable. They've come together, as they do, to make sure that the community is safe. I really want to say a huge thank you, and we can't be more grateful for the duty officer who happened to be in the area and who was first on the scene, and her courage and the work that she did was just extraordinary. I've spoken with her this evening, and she said that the community that was around her, bystanders that were around her, also did a remarkable job. But, this is New South Wales Police doing what they do on a day-to-day basis. They are out there making sure the community is kept safe, and this is just the beginning. This investigation will continue for quite some time. As the Minister has said, we've seen 6 deaths here today in our city. It is incredibly distressing. It's distressing for our police officers as well. They are part of this community. We must never forget that. So it's distressing for everybody. They will have every support that the government can offer to them. Had a briefing with them tonight. They are, again, just so incredibly good at what they do, so professional, and they'll continue to do that, and we will work very closely with them as days progress. We're good? Thanks
very much, everyone. Thank you.
That was the acting New South Wales Premier Penny Sharp speaking about the incident at Bondi Junction, Westfields. Penny Sharp thanked police officers involved and innocent bystanders who stood up and helped those in need. She says there are more difficult days ahead and is standing with those who are waiting to hear about loved ones. She says the New South Wales Government will provide support in the coming days and provide more information on that to come. Reporter Leah Harris has filed this report, taking a look back at how the incident unfolded this afternoon.
Under attack on a Saturday afternoon in Sydney, terrified shoppers run for their lives from a man wielding a knife, stabbing people, including children.
I've seen a baby with stab wounds.
A baby?
Yeah, there's a baby getting wheeled off by the ambulance.
I was hiding in the back room and I was just hearing gunshots. It was just like the worst thing ever. Like, who does that to people?
Up on the roof, police worried the danger is far from over. Down below, amazing acts of bravery were playing out. This man fended off the attacker, holding him back, most likely saving lives. Others helped in whichever way they could, while the response from police, ambulance and other emergency services was enormous. As shoppers and workers were evacuated from the building, the news spread across social media. Worried relatives gathered where they could, wanting to know their loved ones were safe.
There are more than several other people who have been conveyed to hospital.
We didn't know what had happened. She just got a little, they said, stab in the top right-hand corner of the back. She thought she got punched and then she touched us off and there was blood.
Safe from the violence, but carrying the weight of a traumatic day out. Leah Harris, ABC News, Sydney.
The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Opposition Leader Peter Dutton have responded to the situation. Our reporter Evelyn Manfield has more from Parliament House in Canberra.
Anthony Albanese says that what's happening in Bondi and in Sydney this afternoon and this evening is beyond words or understanding. He says that Australians will be shocked. He's called it a horrific act of violence. And of course, the first thoughts, he says, of Australians are with those victims and families. But he's also pointed out that from witnesses and police, there were acts of heroism tonight. Now, he was asked about the motive at this press conference that is held this evening here in Canberra. He says it would appear that this person has acted alone and the motive is not yet known, and it would speculation around that would be unhelpful. Here's him speaking a short time ago.
Our nation offers our deepest condolences and sympathies to all those who are grieving for someone they have lost, and we send our strength to those who have been injured. The bravery of the police officer who she entered the proceedings that were taking place, obviously very dangerous, by herself. She is certainly a hero. There is no doubt that she saved lives through her action, and it is a reminder that those people who wear uniform are people who rush to danger, not away from it.
Now, in response to this, we've also heard from Opposition Leader Peter Dutton. He has issued a statement this evening which has very much echoed the sentiment of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and we should be able to show you parts of Mr Dutton's statement on the screen. He says that Australians will be in shock this evening at the tragic and terrifying events which have taken place at Bondi Junction. He says that we're grieving for those killed and also thinking of the families of those who have been affected by this attack. He says the horror this afternoon among it was also heroism, and that we thank police and first responders. And he also points out how brave some of the shopkeepers and staff in the Westfield there in Bondi Junction were as well.
And Evelyn, the AFP Commissioner also appeared at that media event. What did he have to say?
That's right. Commissioner Rhys Kershaw was speaking alongside Prime Minister Anthony Albanese here in Canberra this evening. He says that AFP officers are supporting the New South Wales Police, who are leading the response to this, and he says that AFP officers have also been deployed to the crime scene there in Bondi. Rhys Kershaw says as well that it is too early to determine a motive and that at this stage it would be unhelpful to speculate.
The AFP has deployed AFP members to the crime scene, and we've offered our full specialist capabilities such as digital forensics. It is too early to determine a motive, and it would be unhelpful to speculate.
Now, if we receive any further response from the Australian Federal Police or the government this evening, we will bring you that as soon as we have it.
Appreciate it. Evelyn Manfield reporting there from Parliament House. Bondi Rescue lifeguard Andy Reid was at Bondi Junction, Westfield, when the attack unfolded. I spoke to him a short time ago.
Yeah, I was just in Myer trying to buy a bed, and a Myer worker came up and said, everyone's got to evacuate. There's people being stabbed outside, and we went to leave, but they dropped the shutters, I guess to protect us. So we sort of all walked up and looked to see what was going on, and then we heard the two gunshots just around the corner. And as I looked back, I looked down towards level 4 and I could see this woman was bleeding profusely, and I was like, wow, she's in a bad way. So I thought, I've got to help. So I went down to the next level 4 in Myer, and went to go out, and a guy stopped me and said, mate, you can't go. And I said, mate, I'm a lifeguard. I need to go and help that lady. She's bleeding pretty badly. And he goes, you sure? And I was like, yeah, lift the shutter up. So he lifted the shutter up and let me out, and I went around the corner, and just what I saw was crazy. Like it was just victim after victim sort of spread out about every 50 metres. And I sort of started treating that first lady I saw, and helped with a couple of other members of the public that were doing a great job. And there was so much blood that we were looking for several stab wounds, and we sort of found the main one and put pressure on that. And then I looked up, and the lady that was like sort of 30 to 50 metres over, there was a couple of police working on her, and she was in a bad way, and she was non-responsive, and I sort of went over and tried to help the police there, and we did some compressions, and then a couple of female paramedics turned up, and they jumped on the head, and I just kept doing compressions, and we did some compressions for a while. But she was in a really, really bad way. She had a really bad wound on her chest, and then I went to go to the next one, and as I got up to head that way, I looked, and there was just a pram there, and I just thought, oh my God, why is there a pram there? And I've got 3 young kids, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then went to the next victim, and she was in a bad way as well. So there was a couple of paramedics there, and they were doing the best they could, and then the place was flooded with paramedics and police officers and stuff, and I realised that I'd done as much as I could. And but I mean, that first lady, when we were working on her, it was pretty gnarly, like because there was police sort of still looking for the perpetrator. So the guy that had done the attack. So we just weren't sure if he was the gunshots were for him, or they said they might have even been 2. I think they thought there was 2 for a little while, and it was all, it was just a very scary situation. But the police and ambulance did an incredible job.
So we have heard a lot about the swift response by the police and the ambulance, but from your account, it seems that there was also a quick response from bystanders and members of the public.
Yeah, there was a man and a lady, and I think the man might have been from Bondi Surf Club, because he was like, "Oh, Reedy," and in the heat, I was just focused on the job and make sure we helped the woman, and I think she would have been okay. I hope she was okay, but we were talking to her, and then we put some oxygen on her and stuff, and the other 2 that were there as well, they did a fantastic job as well.
Did you think something like this could happen somewhere like Bondi?
Oh, no. Like, I've grown up in the east and been to Westfield to Bondi Junction all my life. I'm 45, and you just, that's a scene I'll never forget, is looking down through and just seeing, multiple victims and just either police or, plainclothes police or just members of the public, everyone just trying to help, and it was surreal. I don't think I'll get some of those visions out of my mind anytime soon.
Yeah, Bondi Westfields is a typically very busy place, especially on a time like Saturday on the weekend. We have heard a lot of the store owners welcoming people in, like you mentioned, Maya's shutting the doors down, and they've really stepped up as well, and they helped a lot of the elderly people. Is you really seeing Bondi kind of coming together as a community to help each other?
Yeah, 100%. There's a good community here in the east of Sydney, and not just Bondi, you know, the whole greater community. And yeah, I'm just devastated for all the people that we lost today. It's horrible. It's not something that happens here in Australia. This is the lucky country. This doesn't happen here. So I think we're going to be mourning for a long time.
Yes, Andy Reid, thank you very much for joining us this evening and talking us through your efforts today.
No problems.
In other news, former Prime Minister Scott Morrison's Sydney seat is poised to change hands, with the electorate of Cook going to the unanointed Liberal candidate Simon Kennedy. The by-election was triggered when Scott Morrison resigned and was expected to be won by the Liberal Party, which has held the seat since 1975. 6 candidates put their hat into the ring, but Labor chose not to run in the southern Sydney electorate. The Electoral Commission had warned of a low voter turnout after early voting was down 11%. Liberal candidate Simon Kennedy wasn't eligible to vote for himself, as he didn't move into the electorate in time to meet the registration deadline. In the NRL, a hard-fought contest between the Warriors and the Sea Eagles ended in a draw. The New Zealand side recovered from an error-riddled first half with a penalty at full time, sending the game to Golden Point.
Daly Cherry Evans led the charge against the Warriors.
That's an easy try for DCE.
Snagging a first-half double. New Zealand managed to build momentum with Golden Point in sight. Manly gave the home side a penalty at full time.
He was attacked at the legs while kicking for goal.
Each side came close to a field goal in the 22-all draw, but they'll take 1 point each. The Battle of Brisbane brought more headaches for Dolphins supercoach Wayne Bennett. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow joins the stacked injury ward with a hamstring strain.
And that is not good signs for the Dolphins.
Meantime, veteran Anthony Milford will miss at least 2 weeks for dangerous contact on Reece Walsh.
Well, I've been doing this job a long time. We've had a lot of injuries in my coaching career, so just trust me, we'll deal with it.
Runaway tries helped the Broncos seal the deal, 28 points to 14. But the battle wasn't the spectacle some hoped for.
You guys build it up to be, something that wasn't the greatest of games. It's just important for us that we won.
Ryan Pappenhausen copped a $750 fine for a hip drop that initially went.
I was, reasonably happy with the way we played.
I really hope our players are starting to believe as much as I am.
Chloe Schmicki, ABC News.
And Parramatta has defeated the Cowboys 27 points to 20. The Cowboys had a hot start but gave away 7 penalties before half-time. The Eels were up at the break 14 to 10 and extended their lead in the second half. North Queensland was quick to follow with a desperate try from Valentine Holmes. Former Cowboy Dayan Azhi then paved the way to help seal the win. The Giants have survived a surging St Kilda in front of a bumper crowd at Canberra's Manuka Oval. The Saints kicked 6 goals to 1 in their final term but fell agonisingly short of victory in a brutal clash.
The full house in Canberra collectively held its breath after this head clash early in the game.
Oh no, and Sam Taylor's in a world of pain. Oh dear.
The Giants' motionless body a stomach-turning sight. The club quick to reassure fans, sharing this photo of Taylor at Canberra Hospital, cleared of any major damage. The Giants quickly regrouped to take a 19-point lead into the first change.
What a finish that is!
Maintain it in the second and third. Another comfortable win seeming likely.
Forced to Toby Green, mops up.
But with another man down,
Stephen Cornelio at centre-half forward for the Giants has not moved.
The Saints pushed hard.
St Kilda have got the last 6, 1 point game.
The home side just hanging on. Last night, Essendon made a break for it in the final term to come away 29-point winners over the Western Bulldogs. 5 goals after three-quarter time.
No problems at all.
Pushing the margin beyond reach in front of a monster crowd at the Docklands.
50,144, the best since 2013.
Tom Liberatore had everyone concerned after collapsing on the field late in the game. The club has ruled him out for next week, despite him passing a head injury assessment and not showing any further concussion symptoms. This tackle by Jake Stringer now being looked at more closely. The Bombers coach proud of his players' efforts to make amends for last week's heavy defeat to Port Adelaide.
I've always been a believer that you learn the most from your losses. Yeah, I think the overwhelming thing I was most pleased with is just, the response.
Erin Marsico-Vetere, ABC News.
On the satellite, there's cloud across Western Australia's south and west, the Northern Territory's top end, as well as north and eastern New South Wales. Looking at the synoptic, rain and the odd storm across WA's south and west as humid air feeds a trough generating rain and storms. Looking around the country for tomorrow, Queensland, mostly sunny, warm in the southeast, clearing showers and very warm in the northeast, mostly sunny and very warm in the west. To New South Wales and the ACT, late thunder, mild in the northeast, mostly sunny, mild in the southeast, mostly sunny and mild in the west. For Victoria, mostly cloudy, cool in the southwest, fog then sunny, mild in the southeast, mostly sunny and mild in the northwest and northeast. In Tasmania, showers, cool in the southwest, windy on the highlands, mostly cloudy, mild in the southeast, mostly sunny and mild in the north. To South Australia, fog then sunny, cool in the southeast, mostly cloudy, mild in the central, and the west, mostly sunny and warm in the north. In Western Australia, cloud increasing, warm in the southwest, mostly sunny, hot in the north. And in the Northern Territory, mostly sunny, very warm in the top end, clearing showers, mild to warm in Arnhem Land. And looking ahead to Monday's forecast for the capitals, in Brisbane, partly cloudy, mostly sunny for Sydney. For Canberra, mostly sunny. Melbourne will also be mostly sunny, partly cloudy in Hobart. Adelaide, mostly sunny, sunny in Perth, and in Darwin, also mostly sunny. That's the latest from ABC News. Remember, you can keep up to date at news.abc.net.au and on ABC iView. I'm Meredith Sheehan. Stay with us. India Votes is up next.